Hey folks, this is Kalani. The Season 2 Turbo Boost event is now live, which means you can gear up much faster and you can get a much higher item level when compared to the earlier parts of the season. Everyone can get up to item level 680 and even a little bit higher. Crest caps have been removed, so you can farm them pretty much endlessly. You are now guaranteed to get your best in slot trinkets, and crafted gear opens up so many doors. So let's go over how the Turbo Boost makes gearing easier and how you can get up to item level 680 gear. Now before we jump in, be sure to hit up that like button and subscribe so you never miss another video. The Turbo Boost event changed a lot about gearing up in Season 2, but if you want to get some easy high item level gear, the change you want to focus on is for crafted gear. All crafted gear can now go up to item level 681, and pretty much everyone has access to this gear. To get yourself some easy item level 681 gear, you're going to need two things: a Spark of Fortunes and some Gilded Crests. Sparks of Fortunes are easy enough to come by. The main source is the important weekly quests in Dornegal. You're looking for the blue spiky world quests on the map, and they will always reward you with a pinnacle cache when completed. These quests will reward you with a fractured Spark of Fortunes every week, and we need two of these to combine them into a whole spark that we can use in crafting. The one fractured spark per week limit is also cumulative over the entire season, and because we're a good chunk of the way through Season 2, you can now pick up 11 to 12 fractured sparks right now, depending on the quests that you complete. You can see how many you have earned in the current season by using this little console command. I'll pop that in the description so you can just copy it over and paste it into chat, and if you missed any fractured sparks, you have a chance to earn them when completing pretty much any endgame activity. So you can kill LFR bosses, you can complete dungeons, you can get them from end of delve runs, PvP matches, weekly quest boxes. You can really get it from anything as long as you're playing the game, so there are plenty of ways to catch up with your sparks. The spark by itself will let you create item level 645 gear, which is a pretty good starting point, but we're after item level 681 gear. To get that huge item level boost, we're going to need some Gilded Crests to buy our crafting gear upgrades from the enchanted crest vendors in Dornegal. You'll need 60 Gilded Crests to buy an enchanted Gilded Crest, which takes the item level of our crafted gear up to 675, and then you'll need to pick up the new Gilded Augmentation Matrix, which can boost the item level by another 6 points, and that's going to cost you 30 Gilded Crests. So 90 Gilded Crests and a Spark of Fortunes will get you another piece of 681 gear. And the best part is that you don't even really have to spend many Valor Stones, so you can save those up for some other gear upgrades. Now there are a few ways to get your hands on Gilded Crests. You can run tier 11 Bountiful Delves, which will reward you with 7 Gilded Crests at the end of your run, and you can get that reward 3 times per week, so that's 21 Gilded Crests available from Delves every single week. If you use a Delver's Bounty map on a tier 11 Delve, you can get another 20 Gilded Crests. The Turbo Boost event doubled that up from 10, so that brings our total up to 41 Gilded Crests from Delve content. You'll also be earning a whole bunch of other crests and Valor Stones while running Delves too, so you can put those to good use on your other gear. Now, even though you can get more crests from Delves thanks to the Turbo Boost event, and every other source of crests has been improved and uncapped, getting Gilded Crests from Delves specifically is quite restricted still. The fastest repeatable source of Gilded Crests is still going to be +7 Keystone Dungeons. You'll get 10 crests per +7 key you complete, and you can farm these endlessly. With the crest caps removed, you don't have to worry about running into seasonal caps or anything like that, so you can just keep chipping away at those dungeons and use those crests to craft your 681 super powerful crafted gear. Mythic +7 keys also aren't that bad. I would say if you can clear a tier 11 delve, you can probably clear +7 keys quite easily. As long as you keep moving and everyone is pushing their buttons, you should get to the end quite comfortably. There aren't that many affixes to worry about. You've got the Xalatath seasonal affix, which can actually make things easier as long as you don't ignore it, and then you'll have either tyrannical or fortified, so you don't even have both of those active at the +7 key level. There are also a lot of players wanting to run +7 keys for the quick Gilded Crests right now, so you'll have plenty of groups to join and a lot of players signing up for your dungeon if you run your own key. Getting your key up to +7 might be one of the best ways to get your leg in the door and get those Gilded Crests secured. It's also important to note that a lot of folks are spamming Mythic Plus dungeons for the Valor Stone rewards as well, and you get bonus Valor Stones at the end of your run if someone in the group gains Mythic Plus score from that specific run. So players are actually incentivized to take lesser experienced players right now, or join the group of someone with a key they may not have run before. So now is actually the best time to get into Mythic Plus if you haven't dipped your toes in so far this season. Lots of groups are running incentives to take lower score players, and those gilded crests open up the door to very easy item level 681 gear, which you just won't get anywhere else for the little effort that is required. And if you needed an extra little push, completing a tier 11 bountiful delve should reward you with a cracked keystone, which will give you a quest to run a Mythic Plus dungeon. That quest rewards you with runed and gilded crests, so it's definitely worth trying to jump into Mythic Plus dungeons if you really want to gear up your characters in the Turbo Boost event. As your key level increases, you're also going to get more gilded crests at the end of your run, so if you can push higher than a +7, it can be worth your time as long as the dungeon runs are still smooth and decently quick. Now there is one other way to get gilded crests. You can trade runed crests up to gilded crests at the exchange vendor. The exchange rate is 3:1, so it costs 45 runed crests to get 15 gilded crests, which isn't all too bad, especially when you compare it to what it was at the start of the expansion. To unlock this option, you'll need the Runed of the Undermine achievement, which you will earn when you have a piece of item level 658 gear in every slot. Basically, when you can no longer use runed crests to upgrade any piece of gear, you can then trade them up to gilded crests. So no matter what content you're doing, as long as it rewards at least runed crests, you can then trade them up to gilded crests and secure all of those huge item level upgrades. Now it is important to note that the ability to trade up your crests also makes weathered and carved crests still somewhat useful. You can trade weathered crests up to carved and then carved up to runed. There are diminishing returns here, obviously you're paying that 3:1 ratio every time you upgrade a crest, but if you have hundreds of weathered or carved crests just lying around because you can't use them for upgrades anymore, that's actually a good chunk of runed crests when you trade everything up, so keep that in mind as well. Now when it comes to crafting items, you're going to want to focus on specific items and gear slots first, while pretty much ignoring some others. You'll want to avoid tier slots for the most part, so don't craft a helm, shoulder, chest, legs or hands piece of gear. You always want to use your 4-set bonus for sure. You can craft your 5th slot if you want to and you have your ideal 4-set combination, but for the most part you want to focus on the non-set gear slots instead. You'll probably want to craft a weapon first, as that's the largest boost for most classes and specs, then work your way around the cloak, wrist, boots and neck gear slots. You can cover pretty much all of those slots right now, which will provide you with a huge boost to your character's power. Now rings are a bit weird and are going to depend on whether or not your class wants to use the Circe's Circlet. A lot of classes and specs still use it as one of their best in slot rings, and then you can also pick up the ring from the raid, which is very powerful for a lot of classes as well. More about that in just a moment. So double check your class guides to see if crafting a ring is worth it for you specifically. But one slot that you'll want to avoid or upgrade last is your belt slot. Patch 11.17 should go live before too long, and that patch will introduce a new belt item that starts at item level 684, so it's really high, but it can also be upgraded multiple times, so this will probably be the highest item level piece of gear we can get when the patch goes live. With how powerful the Circe's Circlet ended up being, this new belt will probably be your best in slot item for the rest of Season 2, and maybe even a good chunk of Season 3, so spending a spark and crests on a crafted belt might be a total waste of resources if it's going to be completely replaced in a few weeks' time. So I would encourage you to either not upgrade your belt at all, or upgrade it as your very last item when you have nothing else to spend your crests or sparks on. So crafted gear can cover a lot of your gear slots, but what about the others? Well, the Turbo Boost event also introduced the Puzzle and Cartel Chips weekly quest and vendor. You can pick up the weekly quest just outside of the bank in Dornagal, and to complete it you will need to kill 4 bosses from the Liberation of Undermine raid, or complete 4 mythic dungeons. If you're already doing the dungeons for your gilded crests, this will just complete itself, but you can also hop into LFR to kill 4 bosses real quick to get your Cartel Chips a bit faster. We're going to be able to earn 9 cartel chips over the next 6 weeks, and each item will cost 3 chips. So we can nab 3 items from this vendor. You can buy heroic or myth track weapons, trinkets, and special items from the raid, as well as trinkets from the current Mythic Plus season. The myth raid gear needs you to kill mythic raid bosses, so that's probably out of reach for most folks, and then the myth dungeon trinkets require you to complete every dungeon on a plus 12 key or above. That's definitely doable for a lot of folks, so if you want to give that a try, maybe hold off on your trinket purchases until then, but if you know you're not going to get that done anytime soon, it is okay to pick up the heroic versions of those trinkets instead. Most players will probably end up picking up the Gallywix ring and their 2 best trinkets with their 9 puzzle and cartel chips, unless you are a mythic raider, at which point the weapons come into play and you're going to have a harder choice to make. But if you don't mythic raid, chances are a crafted weapon is going to serve you better than the heroic vendor weapons, so the puzzle and cartel chips vendor is going to be the best way to pick up some really good trinkets and fill out those really annoying gear slots. As for the rest, if you are running plus 7 keys or above, all of that dungeon loot is going to be on the hero track, so you can get some good upgrades from the loot drops as well. All of your hero gear can now also be upgraded another 2 levels to bring its total item level up to 671, so when you're done with upgrading your crafted gear, you can spend the leftover gilded crests and valor stones on your hero gear upgrades. If you're already clearing plus 7 dungeons for the quick gilded crests, it can also be worth pushing up to plus 10 keys so that your weekly vault will contain some myth track items on reset day. This is pretty much the only way to get myth items without stepping into the raid on mythic difficulty, and plus 10 keys aren't too much harder than plus 7 keys. All of that awesome 681 crafted gear should also give you a massive boost to your overall damage throughput as well, and if you're lucky, you can pick up some myth tier gear or some items to use in the catalyst to get myth tier gear. That's going to be totally up to you though. Any myth gear you do have or get can be upgraded all the way to item level 684 thanks to the turbo boost event, so it's definitely worth the extra effort in my opinion. Now, if you aren't too interested in jumping into Mythic Plus dungeons, you can still benefit from the Turbo Boost event. It's just going to be a much slower grind. You'll want to get your weekly gilded crests from tier 11 delves for sure, so that's 3 tier 11 bountiful delve runs and using your Delver's Bounty map on one of them to get 41 gilded crests per week. After that, you're going to be limited to runed crest farming. The Turbo Boost event did increase the runed crest rewards from the higher tiers of delves, as well as the Valor Stone rewards too. So if you run a tier 11 delve and you kill all of the Undermine monster packs, you can earn 15 runed crests per delve you clear. You can use those crests to buy enchanted rune crests to upgrade crafted gear to item level 658, or to upgrade your other gear up to item level 658. When you've got the item level 658 in every gear slot, you should get the achievement we mentioned earlier, Runed of the Undermine, which lets you trade runed crests up to gilded crests. Because the crest caps have been entirely removed for the Turbo Boost event, you can just run delves as much as you want, farm up those runed crests, and trade them all up to gilded crests. There are no limits on how many runed crests you can obtain right now, or how many you can trade up. So really, the only limit here is your playtime and your appetite for delves. Running 3 tier 11 delves and trading the crests up will give you about the same gilded crests as running a plus 9 mythic dungeon. You can run lower tiers of delves if you want to. Runed crests start dropping at tier 8 if I remember correctly, and then a tier 8 delve will yield 8 runed crests per run, so about half that of a tier 11 delve. So you don't have to do tier 11, it's just probably going to be faster, assuming you can clear through them reliably and quickly. Now, because the runed crests are not a part of the bountiful delve rewards, you can also just run normal delves to farm runed crests, and you can also run the same delve over and over again if you have a favourite or there's a really quick delve scenario that you can blast through, so you can still get gilded crests and get that 681 crafted gear without doing dungeons. It's just gonna take you quite a bit longer. But that's how you can get item level 681 or higher gear in the Turbo Boost event, and how to get your hands on gilded crests. So that's it for this video. What are you going to be focusing on for the rest of Season 2? Gearing up your characters as much as possible, or maybe you're working on something else? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and to all of our members here on YouTube. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you're interested in supporting the channel, you can find links in the description, or click the join button just below the video. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful in any way, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you're always kept up to date. Thanks for watching, folks. Good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.